I feel that you cannot control anything in life. Of course, you can control your choices.
Right.
And that is the only thing you can control.
You chose which one was the most maybe comfortable. जब हम स्कूल से वापस आते थे, I just wanted to play games and he wanted to watch TV. I think उस टाइम पे I think WWE used to come at the same time. तो वो हमारा time clash होता था. Reason or my journey how I got into professional game dev studio was through networking. It's very easy to blame it on destiny. In hindsight, you always know that you have multiple options. किस्मत में ही था तो क्या कर सकते हैं.
You never know who your next client is gonna be.
Right.
You don't know where they are coming from. आपको लग सकता है कि ये इंसान तो मेरे कभी काम नहीं आने वाला, मगर उसी इंसान के पास उस इंसान का कॉन्टैक्ट होगा जो आपको यहाँ से वहाँ ले जा सकता है. So I think yes, of course, networking is really, really important. Let's do a deep dive. Hi everybody, I am Komal Panwar and welcome to the second episode of BII GrowthCast. Today we have a very, very special guest with us. You know how when we were kids, सबसे interesting चीज़ क्या होती थी हमारी लाइफ में? I think video games खेलना. So video games खेलते खेलते कब हम बड़े हो गए, डांट खा के पढ़ाई में घुस गए, पता ही नहीं चला. But there is one person here with us today जिसने उसी obsession with video games को एक creative journey में convert कर दिया और एक career में convert कर दिया. So welcome Anshul Gupta, who has more than 10 years of experience in game development, and there is something amazing that I want to tell you about him. So he currently works at 3 Interactive, where he develops advanced training simulators that are being deployed with the Indian Air Force. So that is in itself very incredible. So today we will get to know a lot about Anshul, his one-person studio called Humblebee Games, and of course more about his experience. So first of all, welcome Anshul. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? How did it begin? And बचपन में क्या मम्मी से डांट पड़ती थी जब वीडियो गेम्स खेलने बैठ जाते थे? क्या थी आपकी जर्नी? आप बताओ.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here.
Great.
My journey began in 2010. It was a usual career track कि PCM लेना है, engineering करनी है. But after going through 6 months of engineering in 11th standard, I realized कि 4 साल तो और ये नहीं हो पाएगा. So I started looking at other alternatives. What I always knew was I had to be somewhere around computers.
Okay.
That was the only concrete information that I had. And game dev tak I came across through process of elimination.
अच्छा.
So when I was in 11th, I started researching कि बिना engineering के what all other streams are there.
अच्छा.
I think I had looked upon 7-8 different streams, which I don't remember exactly what they were as of now. And out of those, then I finalized game development. So I started researching more about ki what is the process, कैसे कर सकते हैं, and mostly the studios expected a good portfolio. So education was not the highest criteria to get into the industry.
Okay.
So there were only 2 universities in India which were offering game development courses. One was in Bangalore, from where I graduated, and the other one was in Pune. So out of those 2, I preferred the Bangalore one because the Pune one also had me do a game art course, and I am really bad at drawing, so I didn't want to go to that route. So I chose the game programming course in Bangalore.
Okay. So, I mean, only 2 colleges, मतलब कि किसी को पता ही नहीं होगा अभी गेम डेवलपमेंट के बारे में.
I think those were the only 2 colleges that were giving you a proper degree. The other ones were diploma.
Okay.
And back in those days, I'm not sure how it is right now, but degree was a really good factor to have, because even if you have to switch careers, degree was the baseline, graduation degree. So that's why I was limited to only these 2 colleges, because they were providing degrees.
So were you a good student when you were a kid?
Till 7th or 8th standard, yes.
Okay.
And then the graph.
So why did that happen? मतलब video games का क्या role रहा है? Have you always been obsessed with it? How has it been?
I think the first video game that I played was probably Road Rash, and it was back in 2004.
I think सबका वही होता था जब हम स्कूल से घर आया करते थे and you know computer.
It was Road Rash, then you had Solitaires,
हाँ.
जो Microsoft Windows में था. I also had that Nintendo ka knockoff, all those Chinese consoles that we used to have. Those were not the original Nintendos, by the way. 9999 in one. So you had Contra, you had Mario, all those games.
Yeah.
So I've been playing all those games in 2003, 2004. So games have always been a part of my life.
So I think it's very important कि हम अपने childhood joy को अगर किसी तरीके से अपने करियर में इंक्लूड कर लेते हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं एक सेटिस्फैक्शन
रहता है. Yes.
रहता है. डू यू एग्री विद दैट?
I think it's a double-edged sword.
Okay.
Because it could also be a case where if you're not enjoying your hobby anymore, so because of your career and the pressure and the burden, you may lose track and enjoyment out of your hobby. But the other round is also true, because then if you don't feel like working every day, matlab in the sense that you are progressing, you are doing what you want to do, but it doesn't feel like a work for you. So it's more natural for you in that sense.
Makes sense. But again, when we talk about game development, how does one decide? I'm sure game development in itself must be a vast stream. There must be a lot of categories within it. So if a student really wants to get into this field, what should they choose? How should they select what they should go for?
So depending on what studio you want to join, what type of games you want to work on. So for example, there's a category AAA studios.
Okay.
So AAA studios are the ones which have the maximum of the budget, teams which are about 2,000, 2,500 people. So there your role is very niche. So even if you're a programmer, there are certain categories. It could be a gameplay programmer, networking, UI programmer. So your role is very niche. But if you join, let's say, an indie studio, where it's only a team of 7 people, 10 people, then you have to play a lot of other roles as well. You have to wear multiple hats, as they say. So the most wide roles categories, if you were to divide, there is programming, there is game art, there is game design. Also, there's a very massive confusion between game art and game design, because I think outside of game development, designers are mostly people who are working with visuals.
Yeah.
But game designers, they do not create visuals. They create the gameplay rules. So, for example, if we talk about simply Mario, Mario has the mechanic where it can jump. What is that jump height? If you land on an enemy, the enemy is killed.
Yeah.
These are the game rules, which are the responsibility of a game designer.
Okay.
Game art, the people who create all the visuals. You have animators, you have people who provide background music, sound effects, you have game producers. All of these are very broad categories. And initially, my recommendation is always to join an indie studio, because that's where you learn the most. If you go into a bigger studio, you are mostly tunnel visioned into one category.
Understood.
Where you won't be able to enjoy the entire process of game development.
So tell me this, Anshul, if somebody wants to get into it, how viable is it income wise? Is it good? Does it give you good money? Is it a good stream if you want to get rich?
I think the average is not so high compared to if you look at other programming streams, for example, backend programmer, front-end programmers. The average money is not as good, but again there are exceptions.
But I've also heard that the game development industry is on a boom right now. So you can expect it to go higher in the years to come. So keeping that in mind, do you think it would be a good choice?
It is a good choice. It's just that there is a lot of, how do you say, especially in India, there are a lot of studios who do not have the budget to solely work on their games, right?
Okay.
To sustain themselves, they also have to do client projects, they have to do some other projects of that sort. And because of that, the games that are coming out of India either take a lot of time comparatively, or they are mostly left in between. They are never finished in that sense.
So any successful games that have been created in India and are समथिंग लाइक जैसे काउंटर स्ट्राइक बहुत पॉपुलर है, इस टाइप का कोई गेम है इंडिया में जो बना हो जो बहुत अभी पॉपुलैरिटी पे है या पॉपुलर हो सकता है?
सो राइट नाउ करंटली देयर इज अ गेम व्हिच इज अबाउट so it's a funny game, co-op game. Co-op simply means that you are playing with other people.
Okay.
And the story of the game is simply about that you are in a hotel room and there is a dead body which is part of your room.
Okay.
And it's not the people, the players who have committed the murder, but now they are trying to figure out how to get rid of that body.
Oh.
So it's a funny game in that sense, and it has really shot up, and it's still in development. So only I think a couple of screenshots, and then later on, once it started picking up, they released a trailer.
Okay.
So this game is bound to do well because they already have, I think, 180,000 wish list on Steam.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
So there are good games like that. There's another game called Raji. I think you must have heard of it.
Yeah. I know. You probably know
Anirudh.
Yeah.
Yes.
He worked on the design.
He was the concept artist.
He was the concept artist.
Yes.
Okay. Again, I confused the design part with concept.
So he was a concept artist on that. That game commercially did successfully, and now they are coming up with the sequel to their story.
Okay.
So there have been games like that. There's another studio called Ogrehead, with Zen is the main person.
Okay.
It's out of Hyderabad, and he did a really amazing release called Asura.
Okay.
Which was based out of Indian mythology. It did really well, and now he's working on his second title called Yodha, which is again based on Indian mythology but different game mechanics.
I think it's very interesting how we are now picking up things from the Indian mythology in a lot of areas associated with artists, because you can see it in books now.
Right.
You can see it in even the films that are coming out. They're using mythology in a very strong way, which is amazing, and I think it's a very good way to connect with the local audiences as well.
Right.
Because local audiences where I think the gaming industry is probably lacking penetration. What do you think?
I think most Indian studios are focusing on worldwide releases and worldwide audience, and ideally that's how it should be. Just focusing yourself to one particular niche audience gets very difficult, because then you have to get into that particular mindset of how those particular players are.
Okay.
And in India, most of the audience prefers freemium games, games which are
Candy Crush.
Yes. For example, games that do not require large time span to be played. So targeting that audience with very high intensity mythological games is not a very good idea. So that's why they're targeting global audience.
Got it. So you've participated in the Global Game Jam quite a lot of times, and recently you were also a mentor there. So how has the journey been? I also want to understand, I think your audience would like to know, what is the Global Game Jam?
So game jams in general are similar to hackathons.
Okay.
So the whole concept is people, they come to a place, they form teams with new members. You are given a theme or a problem statement, and then you have a limited hours. Mostly 48 hours is the standard game jam concept.
तो 48 घंटे में क्या-क्या करना है आपको?
You have to make a game.
And you're just there for 48 hours.
You're just there for 48 hours and you have to make a game. So आपको theme वहीं पे मिलेगी. You make new teams. You
sleep there as well.
You sleep there, and the food is there. Everything is there.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, you just have to have a playable prototype.
Okay.
So this really forces you to collaborate, because you can't make a game alone in 48 hours. It's very difficult. You can, but it's very difficult. And second, usually when you're working on longer projects, right, you get very tunnel visioned into your own game.
So you were talking about 48 hours in one place?
So you are there for 48 hours. That's how Global Game Jam operates. So there are online game jams also, where you don't have to reach to a particular physical location. You can participate from your home, from your office, wherever. But Global Game Jam always happens on site. And because of COVID, for 4 years it was an online thing. But now it's back to its offline roots.
Understood.
And the concept is, it's a celebration of the industry, so it's not a competition.
Okay.
There are no winners in Global Game Jams.
Okay.
It's just a celebration of the industry, and it happens worldwide.
Okay.
So you are provided with a theme.
Okay.
And you make a team, and in those 48 hours you have to make a game which is somewhat related to that theme. It could be directly related, it could be metamorphically, not metamorphically, it's called
metaphorically,
related to that theme.
Okay.
So the first Global Game Jam that I participated in was back in 2014.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Almost 12 years?
12 years. We were all students. So 7 of us had gone. We had gone with a pre-made theme, because we didn't know. Our comparison was a hackathon, which is a very competitive place. Game jams usually, Global Game Jam is not competitive.
Okay.
So, but we went with that mindset. We had gone with 7 of us. We had a pre-made theme. And we were, at least for the first 24 hours, we were thinking that it's a competition. So we were very much isolated in our own cubicle. It was a office, a game dev studio, which had hosted.
Okay.
So they had provided with the space, food, electricity, everything, and we had gone there. So there were two mentors over there who were also the organizers. It was basically their studio space. So Yadu and Rishi.
Okay.
And they noticed, and by the way, we were the only students there. Everybody else was industry professional.
Okay, that's
So,
amazing.
Yeah, so they noticed that we are very stressed out about the whole process. We are not enjoying, we are not talking to other people. So they approached us. They made us calm, they made us realize what the game jam is all about.
Okay.
And they made us then talk to other industry professionals, take help from them, help them with their ideas. So it's a very collaborative process. That was my first global game jam. Now, in 2026, I was contacted by Vivek, who is the India head for Global Game Jam.
Okay.
So he asked me if I'm available. There is a college in Gurgaon who is organizing Global Game Jam for their students.
Okay.
And they would like some industry professionals to be there as mentors to help them with the whole process of Game Jam and understanding what games are, what is game design process and all of that. So I agreed. And in my head, I just wanted to be what Yadu and Rishi were to us. And that was my whole motive. So I was there for 3 days. I didn't sleep there. I came back and went back again. And I helped the students with the entire process. How do you come up with design ideas? How do you collaborate? And it was an amazing experience because there were 27 teams. So around 27 or 28, I think one team worked on 2 projects.
Okay.
So 28 games came out of that place after 48 hours.
Okay.
And we 3 of us were there as mentors. We got to play every game.
Wow.
So not just we played the entire game at the end of the event.
Yeah.
Since the development process was there, we were brainstorming with them. We were helping them with the ideas. We were bouncing off ideas with each other.
Yeah.
So it was a really amazing experience.
No, I'm sure. And thinking of it this way, that 27 games are, being built on the go. So many souls getting together to build something. It's just incredible. So it just makes me think. I'm sure when you were in your first game jam, you must be in touch with a lot of people who were there from the industry right now today. So my next question to you is, what role has networking played in your life when it comes to, expanding your network? And because people say your network is your net worth,
Right.
what role has it played, and how has it helped you take a step, forward each time?
Right. So the reason or my journey, how I got into a professional game dev studio was through networking.
Okay.
So there is an event called Indian Game Developers Conference, which happens annually every year. And earlier it used to be called NGDC. So it was hosted by NASCOM.
Okay.
And it used to happen in Pune.
Okay.
So when we were students, we had gone there to get a gist of what industry professionals are working on, how the industry works and everything, because there are talks, there are people displaying their new games, there are awards and everything.
Yeah.
And that's where I met Arjun.
Okay.
Arjun and Amit, they were running a studio called Super Psych Games in Delhi.
Your first job.
Yes,
Yeah.
my first job.
Yeah.
So they had come there for a talk to talk about, it was a post-mortem of their own game, how it did, what wrong went, and what could have been better, what was their design process and everything. So that's how I got in touch with them. And that was the first time when I had applied for internship.
Okay.
So that only happened because I was part of a networking event.
Yeah.
And currently there's also a very big Indian game dev community run by Yadu.
Okay.
It's called gamedev.in.
Okay.
So there are industry professionals over there. There are students, and it's a very helpful resource for anybody who is either a professional or want to be a professional. So I think even in game dev, networking still plays a very important role, whether you want to get into the industry or whether you want to make good games.
No, 100% I agree with you. I think it's really important also. Even at BII, we always think of it this way, that you never know who your next client is going to be.
Right.
You don't know where they are coming from. आपको लग सकता है कि ये इंसान तो मेरे कभी काम नहीं आने वाला, मगर उसी इंसान के पास उस इंसान का कॉन्टैक्ट होगा जो आपको यहाँ से वहाँ ले जा सकता है. So I think yes, of course, networking is really, really important, and we all see it in our everyday lives. कहाँ से connects निकल के आते हैं और हमें finally एक sort of push देते हैं. So before you got into the technical side of it, what were the games that just, made you stay in your seat? खाना नहीं खाना, मुझे खेलने दो, ऐसे कोई गेम्स थे? कोई स्टोरी बताओ यार घर की, कि घर में बैठ के गेम्स खेल रहे हैं, मम्मी डांट लगा रही हैं कि चलो पहले खाना खाने आओ.
I think mummy say I never had a fight for games.
Okay.
My fight was always with my elder brother.
Okay.
Because जब हम स्कूल से वापस आते थे, I just wanted to play games and he wanted to watch TV. I think उस टाइम पे WWE used to come at the same time. तो वो हमारा टाइम क्लैश होता था. तो मेरी सारी फाइट्स भैया से ही थी गेम्स को लेके. The first game which I think made me not get up from the computer was Roller Coaster Tycoon. It was a game by Atari.
Okay.
And it's a game where you have to manage your own amusement park. So you make roller coasters,
That
you
is
make
so
rides.
Cool.
And that was the first game, by the way, which I pirated. So I had just gotten access to the internet back then. So I downloaded the game, pirated it. And I've played, I think over the years, for 5-6 years, that was my go-to game whenever I used to just, have to get into my own shell, my own cocoon. That game was what I used to play. And I felt so bad about pirating that I've already purchased 4 copies of it on every other platform.
Okay. No, I think it sounds very interesting. I'm going to try and play it one day. It sounds very interesting.
You have to manage your amusement park. So guests are coming and they have their own behavior. So they have requirements. Maybe somebody is interested into less intensive rides.
Okay.
Somebody is interested into more intensive rides. So you have to balance that out.
So simultaneously you have to do all of these things, man.
You have to understand your audience, which is coming to your park, what their requirements are, and then scale your park and also manage finances of the park. You can take loan, then you have to repay and all those things you have to do.
Okay. So I know for a fact that apart from video games, you're also a big fan of board games.
Right.
So if you were to suggest 3 board games that any adult can play easily with, a group of friends, what would those 3 games be? Don't tell us Sequence and Catan and all of that. मतलब कुछ थोड़े uncommon games ऐसे जो आप suggest कर सकते हो, because I know you're pretty, you really like them.
I have a board game collection, so it's a mix of board game and card games. I think right now I have 13 games in my collection.
Okay.
The initial games that I would recommend are Exploding Kittens.
Sounds interesting. What is it about?
So Exploding Kittens is about survival.
Okay.
So there is only going to be one player who survives at the end, and that is the winner. So one by one, you are basically thrown out of the game when your kitten explodes.
So we are the kittens.
Yeah.
Exploding.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a card game. It's a really good game. Okay. It also has a newer iteration which is called Imploding Kittens.
Okay.
So that just adds a little, I think 15-20 extra cards to your original deck.
Okay.
And the rules are slightly different.
Okay.
So that is one. The other one I would recommend is Kodama. So Kodama in Japanese are the tree spirits.
Okay.
So this game is all about constructing your tree. So you, I think it's a 6-player game or maximum 5-player game. I don't remember exactly. But you are given a tree trunk. That is your starting card.
Okay.
And now you have to place branches. And there is a certain set of rules how you place will give you the maximum number of scores. And you have to strategize how you're going to play, because the branch cards are common for every player. So you pick it up one by one, you start creating your branches, and at the end of round 3 you count your total points.
Okay.
So it's about creating a tree.
Okay.
Which is really nice. And the third one that I would recommend, I think recently we have played 6000 BC, Bharat 6000 BC.
Acha.
So that is a good game. It has 4 clans. You play as one clan.
Okay.
And your objective is to have the maximum number of resources, which then gives you points.
Okay.
So the objective is to score 25 points. Whoever scores first wins. You can make temporary coalitions with other clans if you want, which are essentially other players, or you can also backstab them. It's an entire game about strategy. So the whole concept is you have 2 armies, you move that army around and you conquer places.
Okay.
Now if you have a coalition, you can somebody, maybe other player, you can collide that we won't fight.
Yeah.
You take this much area, I'll take this much area, and we won't fight ever on our common ground. But then you can also backstab, because fighting and taking more ground gives you an advantage in the game. So it's all about strategy.
Okay.
So that is also, it doesn't have a very high friction in the sense of rules. You can understand the entire game in 15-20 minutes.
Okay.
And then you can get a playthrough which is about an hour.
This is very cool because you know what happens usually when you meet your friends, usually in my friend circle I've seen this, that it's more about conversations and these conversations sometimes don't have any sar pair. तो ऐसे ही चल रही हैं बातें, तो मुझे लगता है कि sometimes this is also very important.
Yeah.
It is a good thing to bond over.
That's what I was going to come to. We have started hosting board game nights.
That's amazing.
So either we go to our friend's place or we call them over, and the whole idea is to play 3-4 hours games.
Yeah.
And those are board games. So you're away from all the digital screens, you're away from your phone, you're just there in that moment learning new games, playing those games. It's really amazing. In fact, in Jaipur also there is a group.
Okay.
They organize, I think, every month. They book a cafe and they take multiple games, and you can join and you can play those games there.
Yes, we need to know about that. So
I'll give you the details. There is a board game community in Jaipur.
That sounds very interesting. I mean, I would love to go.
Yeah.
Because I am that kind of a person who would love to, explore these things and get to know more about it. चलो ठीक है, अब ना थोड़ा philosophical हो जाते हैं. मतलब मेरा जो next question है वो थोड़ा deep ले जाएगा. So sometimes what happens, like when I think of my career, I always think of it this way, that today I have set a goal for maybe December. By December, I want to achieve that. In the process, there'll be a lot of smaller things that I will have to do in order to be able to get there. Keeping that goal in mind always. But when I was younger, it was not like this. When I was younger, I thought कि हाँ मतलब ये अचीव करना है, अब कैसे करेंगे वो सोचा नहीं है, बस हाँ ये करना है. अब वो गोल इतना ridiculously big होता था कि you can't find any ways to get to it. So how does it work for you, and how was it for you when you were younger? Did you start with a specific goal in mind, or did you just go with the flow? How was it?
I think for me it was to go with the flow.
Okay.
Because as I said, everything started happening through process of elimination. That's how I landed at game dev. That's how I figured out the kind of studios that I wanted to join. So when I had gone for internship, I had applied for 5 studios, and out of which 3 were looking for interns, which were matching my college semester timelines.
Yeah.
So out of those 3, I picked Super Sai Games because I had already met Arjun and Amit previously. And when I was an intern, and also when I had started working as a full-time later on, I didn't have much career goals back then apart from learning.
Okay.
All I knew was that I wanted to learn more because...
एक मिनट, किसके पीछे मत भागो, फेम, what is that line?
I think it's called सक्सेस के पीछे मत भागो, एक्सीलेंस का पीछा करो.
सक्सेस खुद ब खुद अब तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी, मतलब ये तो बिल्कुल रेलेवेंट हो गया तुम्हारे ऊपर.
हाँ, so my goal was to simply learn because see, at least for me, what I learned in college, education-wise, and what actually was happening in industry were very 2 separate things.
Okay.
Whatever I learned in college was not useful for me back in the office where I worked as an intern. So after my internship, I knew that I still have a lot to learn, and the only way to do that is to join a studio, work on live projects. So there all the goals were being set by the studio owners, right? For me, it was to simply be there, commit and learn, and as well as deliver. So that's how it was for the initial first couple of years. And then when COVID hit, Amit and Arjun decided to shut down the studio. And I had joined another studio then, which was also based out of Delhi, Immersive Arts. Okay. There I worked on a very different project. So up till in Super Sai, we were mostly working on mobile titles, HTML games. Okay. There was one console game which we were working on. Okay. Apparently it didn't see the light of day. Okay. We had to shut it down. Okay. So the development process is very different when you're working on a mobile game versus when you're working on a PC title. So there again my learning curve took a exponential curve because everything was new, so I had to adapt. And then after that, I decided to go solo and freelance for a while because at least in Super Sai Games, we were working on multiple titles. Yeah. So there was not a burnt out for me because I was keep switching between projects, new technology, new projects. But over here, I was working on only one project. And after a while, and since it was a work from home situation, so I hadn't meet my team in person. I was isolated at my own home working on the same game for almost a year and a half. So I started feeling burnt out. So I decided to take a leap of faith, and I started my own legal entity. It's called Humblebee Games. Where I was started prototyping my own ideas. I was the only developer, solo person to work on those games. And also, as I said, that mostly people do client work to sustain themselves, sustain their development. So I started taking freelance projects, and it was a really good change of pace for me, because then I could work on multiple projects with multiple people. Things were changing. It was refreshing. And I continued to do that for almost 2 years. Right. In these 2 years, I worked with a very goal-driven approach, because I had to make sure that I was working on my own projects, and I was also meeting deadlines for all the client projects. So I had a entire whiteboard set up with calendar events. This is the deadline for this particular project. This is my free space which I've marked so that I can also work on my own games. So that was a very goal-driven and goal-setted approach that I took. And now I've shifted back to a studio, because I realized that I was missing on peer learning. Because I was working again alone on my own game, so there was no learning with other people. And even with client projects, what I realized was that I have limitation on my time, right? I can only do so much of work every day.
Definitely.
And because of that, I was trying to maximize the earning, which meant that I was not taking enough risks. So I was limited in the sense that this is where my knowledge capping is as of now. I would prefer to do multiple projects below this knowledge base, rather than taking risks of going higher, because then other people are dependent on me to deliver.
Right.
So I wanted again a change of pace, and I joined 3 Interactive, where I've been working for 2.5 years now. Now when I'm working on my own projects, my own under the name of Humblebee Games, I have a very different approach, because there I need to have milestones, there I need to have, which I have to set for myself.
Definitely.
And also I have to make sure that I'm trying to stay aligned with them. But when I'm working with my day job, that mostly goes with the project producers, right? They set the deadlines, they do the high level and future prediction and how the projects are going to shape up. So now I'm experiencing both these.
Best of both worlds.
Where I get to set my own goals, and where I have to follow a grand vision which is set by other people.
No, I really find it interesting, because, when you are working on your own, it is very difficult to, because most of my life I have been an entrepreneur, worked on my projects myself. And this is one thing which has been missing. So when you're working with an organization, you're bound to follow a set of rules, and you're bound to have certain goals in life. But when you're working solo, you can be a little easy on yourself. So I think it's very important from time to time to have somebody who can help you shape up your career. I agree with you on this. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you can work with other people in collaborations to ensure that there is a, as you mentioned, the learning curve, you need to make sure that it keeps going up. And it doesn't it shouldn't be a flat line ever. Otherwise it's just going to be very difficult for you and your career both. So I agree with you on that. And so does Humblebee Games have a forte, specific kind of games?
Not yet. I still haven't found that forte of what I want to do. I know what I don't want to do. So I've been trying to study the markets, right? Because essentially, even though the game development is a very creative process, you still have to get into those numbers of profit and loss, and you have to make sure that if you want to make a commercially successful game, you have to study the markets. So I've been trying to do that. And one thing that I've realized is that, at least in the mobile space, it is very difficult to deliver consistently good projects, because there the audience prefers a freemium game. So that means that you have to spend a lot of money in trying to get people to play your games, and then it could be in-app purchase, it could be ads, but you need quantity over quality when it comes to players. But if you look at PC games, which are premium, so you pay up once and the game is yours, right? There, even if you have a lower quantity, But if you've targeted a niche audience, you can
Yeah.
still make good commercially successful games.
Okay.
And with mobile games, you have to do a lot of extra things which are policies either by Google or
Okay.
Apple, and you have to adhere to that, and they keep on changing. So it's hard to do a fire and forget sort of a development process where you've made a game, you've released it, and now you can move on to other games.
Huh.
But on
Okay.
mobile, you have to keep coming back to those games because, so for example, right now the Google has updated their policy,
Okay.
which made all the previous release titles undownloadable. So
Okay.
all those developers now have to go back to their previous projects. You have to make those changes so that now you're adhered to the new policy,
Okay.
and then release again. So you
Okay.
never get an exit from mobile games is what I've experienced. And I don't want to do that as a solo person.
So you're clear in your head exactly which direction
So
you're
yeah,
heading
so I'm now preferring to go for PC titles, and
Yeah.
mostly titles where you develop, you release it, you keep fixing the problems that players are facing, bugs, everything, and then after a while you can do a hard cut where now this game is done,
Yeah.
I'm moving to the new project. So that's the
That's
kind
good.
of games and development process which I'm planning to do under
Okay.
Humblebee Games.
Understood. Okay, so now let's do a deep dive into Anshul's life. So we have this new segment called Deep Dive, where we are going to be talking about some deep things, that can inspire you in your life or probably get some secrets out. So do you think, Anshul, that life is actually destiny, or is it a series of choices?
See, I am a strong believer of wherever I am today, it's because of the combination of all the choices that I've made.
Okay.
Right? Whenever you're presented with a choice, maybe at that point you don't have enough picture, you don't have enough information to see that what all options you have.
Yeah.
Right? But once you take an option, you move past it. In hindsight, you always know that you have multiple options. You always had multiple options. You chose which one was the most maybe comfortable, convenient, which had the best pros and con ratio, and you go ahead with that choice. So I am a firm believer of the fact that
Everything is a calculated.
it's a series of choices.
Okay.
Because
Good answer.
if I just add on to it, the reason why I don't believe in destiny is because then it is very easy to blur lines between your own, that you start to lose control over your life, in the sense that instead of realizing that you still have options, you can still make better choices. Let's say you're in a place where you're not comfortable. It's very easy to blame it on destiny, that kismat mein hi tha to kya kar sakte hain, and you lose control on your own life. Whereas if you believe that you are here because you took some decisions, and you can get out of here, you just have to take different decisions. So you retain that control on your life. It could be a placebo effect, I don't know, but that sort of sticks with me.
So I have a slightly contradicting approach on this. I feel that you cannot control anything in life. Of course, you can control your choices,
Right.
and that is the only thing you can control, but nothing else. No external factors can be controlled. So it's
Correct.
sort of like a hybrid sort of a feeling that I have, that you need to make your choices, but apart from that, you can't control the outcome or anything else.
Right. So
That's coming your
I think
way.
an analogy to that is, if you are, let's say, swimming in a river, right? You can't control the flow of the river. It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All you can do is maybe align to that flow, maybe
Yeah.
fight that flow, maybe try an approach in between. But
Find a boat.
Yeah, but you still
Yeah.
have options even in that flow of the river,
Even in
where
the
you
flow.
can change your direction and all of that.
That
So
makes
it's
sense.
it's a mixed approach. You have to accept that you can't control everything in life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be very stressed.
You'll be very stressed.
Right.
Right.
But it's a middle ground.
Love it. Okay. So what is a song that feels like your autobiography?
Autobiography.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going through all the playlists that I have in my head.
किसी गाने की एक लाइन भी बता सकते हो कि ये बहुत रेलेवेंट है मेरी लाइफ पे?
So, for the past couple of years, I've been trying to live life holistically.
Okay.
So, there is a YouTuber, Ali Abdal.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of him. He
Yeah.
creates content about productivity and businesses and all.
Okay.
And he has this exercise called Wheel of Life.
Okay.
So what you do is there are 10 sections in that Wheel of Life. 3 are related to your career, 3 are related to your relationships, and 3 are related to your health. So mental, spiritual, physical is for health. Relationships mein you have your romantic, friends and family.
Okay.
And career mein you have growth, mission and money.
Okay.
And the 10th is bliss or joy, which is basically you're just enjoying while this entire process is happening.
So do you have to spin the wheel and decide aaj kis pe focus karna hai?
So what you do is, whenever you feel kind of lost, you do this exercise. Out of 0 to 10, you simply rate each section.
Okay.
That will give you an idea of where you are lacking. Very hectic, let's say, professional life, right? You had a delivery which was coming up for one of your projects, and you sort of lost contact with your friends for 1 month, let's say.
Yeah.
So now when you do this exercise, you realize that you have not been in touch with your friends.
Yeah.
So maybe you can spend the next week, maybe next month in trying to catch that up. So overall, you're trying to live your life in balance. That is the holistic approach. Right now, I've realized that I have been very much focused on my career.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Those sections have always been up in the past few months that I've done this exercise. And my health and my relationship segments have taken a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
So I think right now, if I have to say, Counting Stars, have you heard of that?
Yeah.
One Republic.
Yeah.
That is what is sticking with me, because that song is more about enjoying where you are, enjoying your life, and not just worrying about the norms and
no more counting dollars.
Yes.
Just counting stars.
So I think right now that song really inspires me in that sense.
It sounds like a very good exercise, because is there a section? I mean, you mentioned that the relationship area has 3 sections, which is friendship, your family and your spouse, right? These are the 3 sections. But where is self-love? That is also an important section.
I think the 10th, which is bliss and joy.
Oh.
That reflects how
self-love.
Overall you're enjoying your life. It could be that you're doing very good in career. You could be very responsible with your family.
Yeah.
You could be hitting the gym and every day, and you're physically fit, but still you're not happy.
Yeah.
So that 10th factor of joy and bliss reflects on how you are.
Yeah. Because this is something that I've been working on for the past 1 month. I realized that the sense of self-love has just, I don't know, it's hidden somewhere, or it's just maybe I've forgotten about it. I don't know what it was like, but I started doing a few things for myself. And since the time I started doing it, I started feeling happier. I felt like I was having conversations with myself. I mean, I started with something as simple as taking a walk.
Right.
When I started doing that alone, I did not want to go with anybody, because I felt like it's the same conversations happening over and over again. So when you're going alone, you're just with your mind. And when I started doing it, I really felt that this is therapy. Why am I not doing this every day? And that is a very important. I mean, you can do anything, but you need to have one thing for yourself every day. It's very important.
You need to. And it's how they announce in the aircrafts also that before helping others, you should put on your mask first.
Yeah.
So what I've realized is over the past few months when I'm doing this exercise, if I'm low on that bliss factor, I don't have enough energy to work on any other category.
Absolutely. Last question of the deep dive segment, and then we get to the rapid fire. What is one question you wish that people would ask you more often?
How things did not work out for me, and who or how I reached out for help in that time. So for example, especially when I met students, right, people, when you're introducing mentors or people who have come, you're usually talking about all the good that have happened in their life, right? You don't usually talk about what went wrong. And when I was talking to students, somehow they realized that I've been on some different altogether success curve, which wasn't the case. There have been dips in my life as well, be it career, be it personal life. So I just want people to be okay in order to ask that, in order to answer those questions.
Yeah.
And you should also be okay in accepting that there are times when you need external help. You can't do things on your own, right? So only when people are open to discussing all these things, it would be much easier for everybody to stay calm, because we get very much in our own heads, right? And we see people for example, let's say I have colleagues, right?
Yeah.
I have role models in the industry, and I'm not much aware of their personal life only until they start opening it up, right? So I'm only looking at their positive things in life.
Yeah.
And sometimes that triggers me in the sense that why is it that I'm experiencing all these bad aspects of my life and they are not? It's just that I don't know about it.
You
right?
just don't know about it.
But when you start talking about it, it becomes a very cohesive environment for everybody to be okay with all the bad, right? Bad's gonna happen. You just have to be okay with it. And the only reason to be okay with it is knowing that other people at times also experience this, right?
Agreed.
That's what happened with COVID. If you were not in communication with your family members, your friends, it was very difficult for people. But just to see that everybody was stuck in their own places, right?
Yeah.
It sort of give you a sense of relaxation that you're not the only one.
Right.
So I think people should be okay about asking and then also answering these questions.
No, you're right. It's really important to be human.
Yeah.
You know, we are not superheroes. Nobody is a superhero. It's just, there have been days when people are sitting in their rooms and wondering what the hell am I doing with my life. But, on the front, you're somebody else. So it's important to show that human side so that everyone can see that, you are not alone. So yeah, on that note, very heavy talk, but very interesting. So we're ending things on a very light note. There are 4 rapid fire questions for you. And you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay? On the top of your head. Okay.
Are we allowed to play this game without Phoebe's supervision?
Yes, you can. Don't worry about that. Okay. So Contra ya Circus?
Contra.
Okay. Your favorite OST of a video game?
OST of a video game. I think it had to be Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Okay.
I had that as my ringtone for many years.
मुझे बताना after this, है ना?
Sure.
Okay. पहले क्या होगा? सलमान खान की शादी या GTA 6?
It has to be GTA 6.
Okay. So if life was a video game, which one would it be?
Sims.
Okay.
That is about living a life. So in that game you live a life.
Okay.
You live a virtual life.
Okay. ठीक है, great answers. I really enjoyed this, and I think having this conversation with Anshul was very interesting. I got to learn a lot about game development. Honestly, I have not been somebody who's played a lot of games, video games, but yes, I do have my favorites. Like I've loved Mario, and I still play it a lot of times. And another one has to be definitely Road Rash.
Right.
रोड रैश मतलब वो पैर से इधर से किक मारना उधर से किक मारना उसके मजे ही अलग होते थे. सो या ऑन दैट नोट थैंक यू ऑल फॉर watching this episode, and thank you Anshul for coming and thank you so much for sharing your insights on how you can build a career in the field of game development. And on that note, signing off, this is Komal, and we'll see you in the next episode.